Okay, here we go, going into our first gameplay. I believe the first gameplay is, I think, a harassing one. Yeah. Okay, so before I get into real in depth with this, before I get really into this, uh, if you're, I want to say this, I'll right off the bat. If you're trying to go for, let's say, S badge, or if you just want to be like play cowboy for fun and be like, I guess, decent and good at him, he's a bit of a challenge, especially since the nerf, and I get a lot of questions asking me, like, how do I rescue from balloon? How do I make it easier? How is it possible? Because it to them it looks like I do it all the time, but if I were to, like, I don't know, maybe clip and show every rank match that I ever did, you would see out of like an entire 2 hour session, I would probably only get like maybe 4 or 3 lassos. Not even, maybe sometimes not even one. Maybe I don't even play him at all, because especially in high tier, I will say this: high tier is a lot harder because hunters know how to counter almost every single mechanic of every survivor, depending what they're playing, because they're high tier, so they have the most experience or just really good at mind gaming or with their hunter. So it's not easy playing non-meta against high tier, and it's especially not fun always, I guess, sweating every match. It's a little stressful, but like, going back to my point, is that if you're trying to get really good with him, my overall statement that I'll say is that you're not going to lasso out every time. There's literally times where you can't do anything. All you can do is either, take the 50-50 and shoot whenever you feel like the time is right, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. That's the best way to put it. And there it will be literally moments where sometimes you really can't do anything. Like, what if they die right out of chair? At that point, you can't do anything. So if you want to go for S badge, if you want to go for maybe even A badge, or just because of playing for fun, my best advice would be, overall, is practice the auto aiming. And what I mean by that is, not, I mean auto aiming, but like in, I guess, intense situations. Practice that lock on, because it can become useful and really good later on when you learn and like kind of master it, because everyone just practices lock on just for last swing, and that's not how you want to do it. I help out mid kite if I have to. I harass early game if I have to. I do whatever I feel is best, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because even if I could lasso somebody off my balloon right in front of me, they won't do anything. But in going into this gameplay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, we're going against an Ann. My duo right here, Melon, almost got hit there, so I lassoed them, and you're gonna start learning what I mean by how to use them in an assistive way. Like, the Ann stuns, and you can use the lasso to cancel that. Cowboy really kind of counters Ann. Can. It's a 50-50. It just depends who mind games who. Because Ann can counter Cowboy, but Ann can also Cowboy can also counter Ann, and you're gonna see what this means. So look, right here is one of these situations where it's, I can do something, but I also can't. Because as you can see, I bait the cats and get the stun. But you're gonna see here, okay, she's not gonna waste time. She's gonna pick up my duo and share them. And as you can see here, there's some distance, but look, I'm gonna try to lock it on. He's smart enough to drop. They know, they're not dumb. And then they just pick up and chair, and then I can't get it. There's nothing I can do about that. There's literally nothing I can do. So those are one of the situations where I say you can't always do something. And that's what I mean. Sometimes you gotta know when it's just best to back off, or when it's just, you want to take the 50-50. That's all it is. Cowboy at this point is just a gamble, like any other harasser. It's a gamble. So again, if you want to be good with him, best advice I say is just practice that auto locking. And auto locking is that little white bar, that little blue marker that shows up when you're aiming, and lock on. Pretty much, you want to do your best to just practice it in situations. And I will try to provide in-game footage of that, because I know you can't see in this replay, but I'll try my best to do that. So as you can see in this gameplay right now, the hunter's doing an amazing job trying to secure this down. The cipher is almost primed, I believe. So now my job is to, I have to pull off this lasso if I want to get a win or a draw. So I'm gonna just stand there and bait, and then I'm gonna go for it again, and then I get it, and then I just leave. Now the hunter's gonna choose: do I go after them, or do I push that cipher? So I get the cats, and so they're not gonna waste time. They're scared of the cipher pop, so they're gonna just go over there and just push that cipher. Something I also want to note is that if you want balloon rescuing tips, here's a tip that I always say: never drop your lasso. Never drop your lasso. Don't drop and run away. Your best bet is to like kind of like moonwalk backwards while you're aiming. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't drop your lasso, part of the auto progression, like the progress it takes to lock onto the survivor, stays. But if you drop it completely, it has to reset completely. For example, sometimes it takes like 3-4 seconds for it to build up fully. But if you don't drop your lasso, sometimes it can take like 2 seconds at most, 2-3 seconds, which can be really helpful, as you can see, because I lassoed a lot faster. Now you can see right here, I'm trying to bait the hunter. The hunter jumps, I time it right with the lock on, and I get that boost, and I'm out. And just for the ones who want to know this as well, if you instant lasso backwards over a hunter, you're not going to really go far. You're not going to go far. It's best to lock onto the hunter and flip, because if the hunter backs up and you're even go further, your lasso will reach even further and launch you even further. That's the way it works. That's how auto aim works, is the best way to put it. Just when it's locked on, your lasso will do anything. We don't talk about that Terror Shock, okay? I got greedy, I guess. I don't want to talk about that Terror Shock. Anyway. So, as you can see in the gameplay, I'm getting chaired. The Merc is down. Priestess is trying to, I think she's trying to work in the last cipher. Melon over there is trying to also work on the last cipher on a different one, pressuring. But although Melon is healed, so Melon can probably buy a few more seconds. If anything, our job is that the Merc, me, and Priestess have to go pressure the last cipher before Melon dies. So, whatchamacallit, kudos to the Anne, like doing an amazing job knowing how to pressure. And I know this hunter. They're a photographer main, so it's completely fine if they want to try something new or if they're just experimenting with a Thai hunter. But whatchamacallit, I think at this point Millen does farm an owl. I think, if I'm correct. All right. No, okay, my bad. They popped the cipher, and the next whatchamacallit, in the next I think replay, I go into cowboy kiting. But something I also want to discuss is that the future plans for my channel is that I've been dead off IDV for a while. I'm gonna get back into it. I know I delayed it like the dad going to the milk store, but I'm gonna get back into it. I will try to do my best to stream whenever I feel like it, because I've been avoiding voicing over any of my gameplays or any streams because my voice has been hurting, and my house is usually loud because I am Hispanic, so there's that. But like I said, in the next clip, I will show you guys how to, I guess, kite, and we'll get into more into that in there. GG's for this match. Alrighty, we're gonna get into another gameplay. This is Cowboy kiting. I believe this is against a sculptor in Chinatown. Now, I think Cowboy on Chinatown is kind of like iffy. Like, I feel like if you know where you're once I learn when you're kind of where you're going, and you learn kind of like good spots where to like maybe die at for a Cowboy, it can be, kind of easy, but kind of hard at the same time. It just depends. Chinatown's a 50-50. Now, before I kind of get into the kiting, just so I kind of explain why I kite quickly. Kiting in general with Cowboy, non-meta, can be easy. Going against meta hunters, hard, way hard. If you're going against a meta hunter as Cowboy, your best bet is to learn how to mind game. Like, it's a 50-50. You have to learn how to mind game these hunters. That's the best way you can do it. There's no, just because you can lasso to a pallet doesn't mean you're OP. I promise you. Because look, as you can see, this hunter is doing their best job, literally trying to statue me at every indoor. And you can see that I'm lassoing, trying to keep my distance. I'm bolting windows, trying to keep my distance. But it's still not enough, because hunters like these are just going to try to counter you in every way, shape, or form. My best bet for kiting with Cowboy is try to learn the angles of pallets, try to learn the angles of ciphers, and maybe, set yourself up for like speed boosts and stuff like that. And try to learn routes with pallets and ciphers, just so like you can get like the advantage. Because you can see here, I'm lassoing almost every pallet, bolting every window, keeping myself distance, and I'm not rotating to ciphers. I'm just kind of keeping all this dead area to myself, while still like lassoing, keeping my self-awareness. But one advice for kiting with Cowboy against meta hunters like maybe as a sculptor or bonbon, is that be careful when you're trying to lasso to pallets and ciphers, because if the hunter sees you aiming, I promise you what bonbons and sculptors will do, they'll do two things. Some bonbons will time a bomb so that when you try to lasso, they'll like knock you out of the lasso animation with the bomb. Or sculptors will try to cancel your lasso with the statue. Or they'll try to wait for you to get into the pallet and then they'll throw like a bomb or a statue. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, something I wanted to explain as well is builds with Cowboy. I always bring left right, but if sometimes I feel like I want a bit of a challenge, or if I feel like maybe Tide will be a better option in this case scenario, what I do is I bring Tide Turner, both borrow time, and triple pallet boost, sometimes two pallet boost with a little bit of the what's it called, prisoner's demise or whatever, so I can see where they're going, because I promise if you die in hospital, it's kind of hard to predict where they're going because there's so many exit ways, or anywhere in general can be kind of hard. So I just do it to bring safe. It makes it harder on me to kite, obviously, but I'll just take it for what it is, to be honest. um as far as everything else I want to go back to, like I said, I'm going to try to stream my gameplays a bit more. Maybe I'll even try to get involved with my community, because I'll be honest, like, I've dropped out a little bit, but I got back into the flow of it because I felt like it's maybe time for me to come back a little bit and have a little bit more experience. Rank can frustrate you so much, I will promise you that. And something I want to also let you guys know is that some top cowboys always bring Tide. Be careful with that. I don't. That's not always the best plan, because whatchamacallit, I'm gonna not, I'm gonna be serious here for a second. Yeah, most of the top cowboys or most of the other top survivors are just PC players. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be real for a second. PC survivor ranking is the most easiest thing in the world. I promise you, if you are a top tier survivor, like around maybe Titan or Champion or even maybe high uni, and you did PC rank, you would feel like you're ranking in Saber tier. And that's not to disrespect any of the survivors and hunters in PC, but it's just that I feel like the controls for PC are way harder, and I know hunters who play on PC, and if they say it's really hard to hunt on PC. So I give where credit's due, but I feel like if that was the case, PC survivor ranking is so easy. And there are a lot of PC cowboys out there, and I will say PC cowboy is different from, mobile survivor cowboy, I guess. So my best bet is, like I always say, bring, most of the time, your best bet's going to be broken windows. And if you really feel like you need Tide, then you know the build for Tide. But it's just going to make it a lot harder on you, okay? Don't expect to go into every match and win and be a god, because I surely don't. Trust me. I get scared sometimes. Sometimes I don't even feel like playing my main, even though he's a lot of fun. Keep this in mind. I don't play Cowboy because I'm a god with him and carry every match. I don't. Not anymore, at least. And even before then, it was hard. But now I just kind of play Cowboy as a fun character, because I know I can kite with him depending who the hunter is and how well I can do it. But overall, just remember, try to be cheeky with the lassos, learn the spots, practice the aiming, and that's all I can say. Anyway, love you guys, and thanks for your love and support.